Scrappy friends, Scrappy Granny here. Today I'm here to share a Memorydex card swap that I recently participated in for Scrapdaworld, hosted by Tmika. We had to create a card that had a title and at least 2 embellishments on it, and this is the card that I created. Here's my title and here's my 2 embellishments. I decided to make a shaker card, and I used some silhouette files. I used the card itself, which is a silhouette card, is a file in I think it's under Rolodex card. And then I also used a background card or a background file that I created the front of my card from. This part is the background card, and then this is the Rolodex card. I used a tutorial by Lorrie Nunemaker to attach the card and the front pieces together, and this was actually a 12 by 12 background file, and I shrunk it down to make it fit the card. And I've linked her tutorial down below my video in case you want to learn how to do that. She actually shows you how to create it in Cricut Design Space, but I didn't have any problems adapting it to my silhouette. As long as you're relatively familiar with the silhouette, you shouldn't have any problems. In addition to the card and the front piece, I also cut out a clear piece from acetate to create the shaker part of the card, which I would glue the front piece onto the acetate. And what I use to cut my acetate out is this transparency film that I got from Office Depot, and I don't have any problems cutting it. I also created these offset pieces. I used an internal offset on my silhouette that's the same size as the card itself, and I used about an 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch internal offset to create these. That's what I use to create the height on my card, because I don't like using the foam. I never have had much success with the foam. I always have my sequins and stuff sticking to the inside, even if I use like powder or my embossing buddy to try to cut down on the stickiness on the inside. It always seems to stick, so I prefer using this method. Normally I'll cut out about 5 of these, but because this cardstock was very thin, and also because my sequins were a little bit tall, I ended up using 7 of them. And all I did was glue them. Well, I started out at first gluing them to the acetate because I didn't want them to show. I wanted to make sure that I got them lined up properly. I would glue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually ended up using 7 when I normally just use 5, but because my cardstock was so thin, I ended up using 7 of them. But you would just stack them one on top of the other. I found that through doing more than one of them that it's probably easier if you would glue it to the card, and then you could put your filler in there and not have to worry about it spilling out when you glue the top on. So that's how I would suggest to do them. Put your filler, glue them to the card, put your filler in there, and then glue your top on. And I just used some red sequins, and I used this glass glitter from Recollections. This is a gold one. It's called Vintage Gold, and I think this one was called Vintage Silver. And my title also came from the Silhouette store. And I used the Stardust stickles on top of it and glued it to the acetate. And then my rosette, I used the Tim Holtz Alterations die, like a Sizzix. But this is the small rosette. I edged it with some stickles around the edge, and then this was a little star, kind of like a little button that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's a little pack. They had red, white, and blue in there, and I just cut the button shank part off. It's plastic, so I cut that off and glued it to the front. Another requirement was that we had to answer 4 questions. So I used another silhouette file. This is a little envelope, and then this card goes in the envelope. I printed and cut the white, and then I just cut the craft cardstock out. We had to answer 4 questions: our YouTube name, our favorite style of crafting, if we were to get a little $5 gift from one of our swap partners, what would we want? And I put score tape because I can always use score tape, and what state we were from, and I'm from Louisiana. And yes, there is a place in Louisiana that's south of New Orleans that isn't in the Gulf, and that's where we live. So this will be glued to the back of my card so that my swap partner can have that attached to the card when they put it in their Rolodex file or their Memorydex file. And then I also created a card to go along with my swap. That wasn't one of the requirements of the swap, but I always like to put cards with my swaps. And I did this little print and cut froggy. He's so cute. I got him from the Silhouette store. I don't remember if he was a print and cut file, but if he wasn't, I made him into one. And I used some, I know you can't see it, but I used Winka Stella on his hat and his little rompers. And then I used this, it's called 3D lacquer, crystal lacquer. It's from Sakura. And it's kind of like glossy accents, but I prefer it because I find it dries clearer than the glossy accents. And I use that to give his eyes some sparkle. And to make him wiggle, I put him on an Art Impressions Action Wobbles, but there's some little mini wobbles. I got these from a stamp show, and I don't remember who was selling them, but I'm sure on the Art Impressions website you can find a link to it somewhere. And I used this stamp set from Close to My Heart. It's called American Celebration. I used that to stamp the card. I used the little sparkles from the firecracker and then Let Freedom Ring. And then I also used, you can't see it right here, but there's another one that says Celebrate that I used for the inside of the card. I used the stickles here to kind of let his firecracker sparkle a little bit. And then before I put the stickles on, but after I stamped it, I put this red piece through my Cuttlebug, or used the Cuttlebug Dotted Swiss folder to put some texture onto the red piece. Then I glued the red to the white, and under the white piece I cut out a piece of fun foam and put it under there to support that top layer of the card. I prefer the fun foam to the foam tape because it's cheaper for one thing, and then it also helps to support it better. And then on the inside I stamped that Celebrate on the white. And then I also have a little note to my swap partner telling her a little bit about myself and some of my likes and dislikes. My swap, I use these little white bags. I embossed them. This bag is the one for the tag. I embossed it with this Anna Griffin that I got from HSN. It's called Cascading Floral Lace. I just love this one. I have used it for many things, and I really like it. And then the bag that I used for my goodies, I embossed that with the dotted Swiss embossing folder also. And I forgot to tell you, on the back of this card, or the envelope, I stamped "Made with Love." That's from this Paper Sweeties collection of stamps, and it's got stamps like "Made with Love," "Created by," and you can put your name or your initials, "To you, from me," "Handmade for you with love." When I packaged the swap, I packaged it with a card, and then I used this other rosette, the larger rosette from the Tim Holtz die. I made it, and then this was a Kate Cuttables file that I got, and I glued them to a clothespin. This tag was from the Silhouette store, and I made it into a print and cut and put the names of the recipients on the tag. And then this tag was one I had in my stash that I used. It's called, it's from Stampin' Up. It's called the Mini Treat Bag Thinlits die. And I used just parts of that. I used the stars. This little star thing comes with that, and I cut the stars out of the tag. And then also the big star and the "For You" come in that set. It's actually a little treat bag, and these can go on the treat bags, but I use these pieces, and then I put this on a foam square. And then the little reinforcements came from another set of files, but it also had stamps, but that's from Sizzix, and it doesn't have a name, or I can't find a name on it. And it made the little reinforcements. This little teeny tiny piece makes the reinforcements, and so I put one on the front and one on the back. And then in that same set is this little scallop punch. So I punched or die, and I cut a little border for that just to make it look a little cuter. And then some of the white stars that I used on the tag, or punched out of the tag, I used on this card. And on the back of the card we had to put our YouTube channel, but I put the name of the swap and what group I was in, and my name, and my YouTube channel, and my Instagram name. And this is what one of the finished ones looks like. This is for somebody else in the swap. In the back is the goodies, and then this is my topper. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's actually my first one, so please be kind. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my video channel. Thanks, and have a blessed day. Thanks for watching, and happy scrapping.